Here's a picture of London's subway system. I know, it's complicated, intimidating, and makes you worry about visiting London. Now I'm about to show you a picture of my home city's subway system. Glasgow. What do you think? Much more approachable, much more simple, and yes, it makes you feel happy inside, doesn't it? And this is what you need to do when presenting complex information. You need to turn London into Glasgow. My name's Kyle Murter. I'm a public speaking coach, author, and champion. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can avoid confusing your audience by using 3 techniques to create more clarity in your presentation. The first way to make the complex simple is to use a metaphor or an analogy. I have a client who works for a big Canadian bank. And her company, her bank, wanted her to set up a new banking system in Europe for her company. The problem for my client is they weren't ready to do that in Europe. They didn't have approval from regulators, they didn't have the paperwork in place, they didn't have a bunch of boring things that needed to happen for a bank to be successful. So what she needed to do was figure out how to convey all of that information to her bosses back in Canada without making it overly complex. So what we decided to do was to use an aeroplane as a metaphor to explain her point. She said to her directors, our branch in Europe is like an aeroplane. Right now, we could take off and we could get airborne, but our plane doesn't have any seats. It doesn't have any cabin crew. In fact, it doesn't even know what its end destination is. So if we take off right now, it's going to be a bumpy ride. We need a little bit more time to get everything in place. You see, what she did there was she introduced her audience to a known thing, an aeroplane. We all know what they are. A lot of us have been on one. And then she connected that to an unknown thing, setting up a banking branch in Europe. So that's what you need to do too. Your metaphor or analogy needs to first introduce the audience to the known and then connect that to the unknown. That's going to aid their understanding and make your message more clear. The second method is to go step by step. When we're explaining something complex, often it seems daunting to the audience because it seems overwhelming. One way we can counter that is by taking the big daunting thing and breaking it down into smaller chunks, into smaller steps. For example, let's talk about changing a tire on a car, something which I certainly find complex. The best thing to do to make it easy for someone like me would be to break it down into, say, 5 steps. After a quick Google search, step 1 could be to safely park your car. Step 2 would be to jack up the car. Step 3, unscrew the wheel nuts. Step 4, replace the tire. Step 5, lower the car and tighten the wheel nuts. So by breaking down that daunting task into individual steps, it makes it a lot more approachable and achievable for your audience. Method number 3 is to tell the story. In the book, The Power of Powerlessness, the author Havel explores why communists persist, why dictatorships rule, why people go along with these things even if they don't believe in them. Now this is a very big topic, a very complex topic, but Havel has a way of making it simple by telling the story of the greengrocer. You see, in a small town in the Czech Republic, the greengrocer puts a sign in his shop window. A sign that represents that he is loyal to the regime. Now, he doesn't believe in this sign, but he puts it there because he doesn't want any trouble. He doesn't want his family to be in danger. And he's not the only one who puts a sign in his window. The barber also puts a sign. The supermarket also puts a sign. Every shop in the town puts the same sign in the window. And then everyone who passes by only sees one story, one idea, that everybody is behind the regime. Everybody is with them. And if everybody's on side, you don't want to be the one guy who's not on side. So what do? You put the same sign in your window. You become part of the problem, part of the power of powerlessness. And that's a beautiful way to explain why dictatorships and regimes thrive. Because people just go along with it. They don't want to rock the boat. They just stick to the status quo. And the point here is Havel didn't use facts or statistics or pie charts. No, he just told the story of the greengrocer. And everything became clear. In fact, this story is so good that the Canadian Prime Minister recently used it in his speech at Davos. So the question is, what stories could you tell that would make your complex information more clear? If you're watching this and thinking, wow, this sounds great, Kyle, but I struggle to come up with metaphors and analogy. I struggle to break things down step by step. I struggle to find stories. Well, fear not, because I can help you with that. You and I can meet up on Teams or Zoom calls, and I can help you craft your speech, craft your presentation, come up with your stories, break things down, make it all simple and clear for your audience. If you're interested in that one-to-one coaching, the best thing to do is email me at kyle@confidencebydesign.co.uk. It would be a pleasure to take your information from being complex, from being like the London subway, to more like the Glasgow subway. See you in the next one.